Brian, we talked about the personality yesterday. So, how do we change our personality?
Ah, the first step for us, if we want to shift our personality, if we want to make a change, is we have to first of all get out of personality. So if you look at that, our personality is here, all right? And we're busy being who we think we are, all right? And that's an automatic program that is based on, and the lens that we're using to decide, all right, who we are and what we're going to be. That lens is a lens that comes from my personality. All right, I'm judging. This is right. This is wrong. This is good. This is bad. I can't do that. I can do this. It's all coming from personality. It's all programmed in. So when a behavior arises and you're in personality, it's you. Remember, we said that in that part of the brain that holds your personality, there is no consciousness. And the consciousness comes through that internal dialogue. And we know that that internal dialogue is primarily judgmental. And so we're creating our reality based on the judgments that comes from the program of our personality. So in order for us to be able to change that, we have to go outside of personality, which means we've got to take a step back and we need to observe ourselves. In that observation mode, we also move so that it's not self. Now I'm over here and I'm observing self. When we move into that space, that observer space, we're no longer judging, we're just observing. We move into a conscious part of the brain. We move into mid-frontal lobe of the brain. So that now what I can do is I can watch self. I can watch those personality patterns and I can identify those and I can go, oh, okay, I can see them. Now I have a choice. I can either reinforce that and continue to do the same thing, or I can look and say, well, maybe there's some way that would be more effective, and I should change that particular part of my personality. But I have to see it before I can make that decision to change. So our first step in this process is to move into observer. So take a look around you and what do you see? What do you feel? What do you hear? Because we're focused on certain things in terms of our personality so that we see what we want to see. If you're hungry and you're driving down a street, you're going to see restaurants. Okay? You're not going to see pharmacies. Okay, now they're there, and somebody says, oh, is there a pharmacy on that street? I don't know. I've only been looking for restaurants. We filter everything through our personality automatically. There are beautiful things that are happening around you, but you miss. Do you go outside and look up at the sky and go, wow, whew, boy, infinite sky, that's pretty cool? No, because we're rushing doing something, which creates our focus on the doing, not the being connected with the environments that we're in. Even in relation to people and how we interact, we're so caught in what I want, all right, who I am, all right, do you like me, that we miss the real vibrational connection with that person. What's really happening with this person? Do we see beyond, all right, what we are looking for? So most of our relationships are based on some kind of I need something from you. And it might be I just need affection from you, and I then manipulate to get affection, all right? It might be that I want to sell you something, and I'm going to manipulate you to be able to go over here. Now, I'm not even conscious of that, okay? This is already built in, right? If we're in observer mode, then even in a relationship, my first task is to just observe you. What are you not saying? What are you feeling? There's so much that we miss because we have a myopic focus that comes from meeting the needs of our personality, which is already programmed. If we want to change, the first thing that we do is we take a step back and we begin to observe what's going on. Now, observation is quite different than the judgment that our personality already does, because the judgment is deciding what's right and wrong and good and bad and should and shouldn't based on this program that you've created that you think is you. When we're in observer, we're just kind of, okay. Let me see from a broader lens without trying to manipulate that to create what my personality wants, because I'm not even aware of that. It's programmed. If I take a step back and I observe, I don't judge. Now, if I observe a situation, I'm going to have a very different sense of that than if I judge it. It's a different lens. People, if we judge them or even have a prejudgment that we've programmed in, all right? I don't like my brother. Well, when I have a conversation or a connection with my brother, already, all right, the dislike of my brother is already programmed in. I don't like my boss, right? Oh, this is going to be a hard meeting. It's going to be terrible. My personality, that judgment has already colored the interaction that's going to happen between me and that person. If I don't like something, I am going to go into that something with a preconditioned dislike. And then we don't have the ability to change because it's already programmed. But if I'm an observer, then even when I connect with people, I'm doing it in a way that doesn't prejudge. Look, if we're caught in self, if we're caught in personality, and I'm the arbitrator of truth in my personality, and you're the arbitrator of truth in your personality, when we disagree about something, as we always do as humans, right? And of course I'm right and you're wrong, right? So what we do is we argue truth, right? Yeah, no, this is right. No, this is right. We do this thing. If we just observe, then what I can do is I can give you my perception. I can tell you how I feel about this. I can tell you how I see it without having to attach that to truth, without having to attach that to self-consciousness. And so what happens is that I'm much more apt to say, this is my perception, and you can then share your perception. And so instead of arguing truth, we're sharing perception. When we begin to make our perception bigger than self, when we move into consciousnesses that are bigger and take us outside of self. It's why people go to see beautiful nature. Because when you're outside and you look and you go, there's a certain kind of wow, there's a right? That gives us just a moment where we connect with something bigger than us. The natural beauty of the world around us. We see the flowers, we see a beautiful bouquet, we observe that somebody has a dress that's very flattering to them, and we can say, wow, really like that dress. It gives us an ability to connect with each other and our environment in a different way that is much more connected and much bigger than just my reality. We expand that reality to be something bigger than who we are in that self-conscious state. And we just become more aware. It's just a natural state. And the more that we practice being more aware, the more that we see. So that first step, that let's just move into observer mode rather than judgment mode, begins to change who we are, because we've stepped a little bit outside of self-consciousness just by not being the arbitrator of truth and automatically judging absolutely everything that we see. I like this, I don't like that, he's a good guy, you're a jerk, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's the way that we create a reality, and it's a reality that is limited by our personality. The first step to be able to move outside of that is to move into observer. Now, observer also means that I am not the arbitrator of truth. I don't really know what's right or wrong. I have a perception, I have an opinion. What's your opinion? And we begin to change not only the nature of the relationship with the people in our lives, but we change the nature of the relationship with how we perceive the world. We're in a place to where we don't know. We're not the arbitrators of truth. When I don't know, I am open to learn new things. I am open to change. It's that whole Zen koan piece of the beginner's mind. If you don't approach something with beginner's mind, even no matter how much you know about it, you already know. So there's no room for you to grow or learn anything new because you know. Let's step into beginner's mind. Let's step into that the observer. Let's begin to let go of our judgments and realize that we're just one perception in a sea of perceptions.
Wow, that's amazing. Thank you, Brian.